This is Ella Star with your Key Races and Bets podcast for Saturday, April 19th, 2025. This Key Races and Bets podcast is brought to you by Amwager.com. AMWAGER. Amwager.com is a great legal online US based horse racing wagering website. Amwager.com has some great betting tools and perks. Is legal for residents of most states and covers most tracks in North America as well as many around the world. Check it out at amwager.com, where you can also get the written version of this podcast, the Key Races and Bets blog, free by clicking on How to Bet and Ella Star's blog while you're there. If you're not a member, sign up. It's easy and you'll be happy you did. We're going to start with the April 19th Key Races and Bets podcast with the Bayshore Stakes. Race 8 at Aqueduct, 4:54 Eastern. The win contenders are Pascaline and Moplex. The Bayshore Stakes used to be run on Wood Memorial Day, which is 4 weeks before the Derby, for 3-year-olds, which were solely sprinters or which got a late start and weren't ready for 2 turns. It's now a week later, and a better prep for races like the Woody Stevens Stakes on Belmont Day and similar races for 3-year-olds around 1 turn. Although this Bayshore only drew 5, there's a potential standout here in Pascaline and a very consistent horse in Moplex to possibly win or complete the exacta. Pascaline has won both starts in his career. The first was 6.5 furlongs last August. The other was a 1-turn mile win in the Laurel Futurity in September, very similar to this 7-furlong trip where Pascaline defeated 8 other horses easily. He may not be favored based on those 2 races, not being in New York, the most recent being 7 months ago, and the fact he's bred in West Virginia. But that's fine with me. Pascaline's Dam, a daughter of Harlan's Holidays, produced 3 other winners. One of them was a really good horse named Social Clinic, who excelled at this 7-furlong trip, who won more than $400,000, finishing first or second in 25 of 34 races. Pascaline ran maturely in both starts, rallying from 8th of 10 and rallying from 3rd, and he's going to be more physically and mentally mature as a 3-year-old, so he could run even better than he did when last seen. Moplex has never missed a board in 6 races, winning 3. He's a New York bred, but he won the open, non-restricted Sanford Stakes last July, and unlike Pascaline, Moplex ran on March 3rd following a layoff, missing by a half length at a mile. He's going to like this 7-furlong trip, and based on the running style of the other 4, it's likely Manny Franco could put Moplex on the lead from the start, from where he could successfully play Come Catch Me. In the Bayshore Stakes, Race 8, Aqueduct, 4:54 Eastern, Saturday, April 19th. Pascaline's a win bet at 2-1 or more. I consider Moplex as well at 5-2 or more, and will box Pascaline and Moplex. Moving on to a great race down at Laurel, the Federico Tesio Stakes. Race 11 at Laurel on Saturday the 19th. Post time 5 p.m., just a few minutes after the Bayshore. The win contenders are Pay Billy, Surfside Moon, and Kentucky Outlaw. For exactas and trifectas in 2nd and 3rd, Sacred Thunder and Happily Delusional. The Federico Tesio, running a mile and an eighth, is considered a local prep in Maryland for the Preakness next month, and the winner should get an automatic berth into that race. That's likely the reason 10 entered, although only 3 appear capable of winning. 2 others, Bosch, which finished second to 2 of the top 3 contenders in the most recent races, have a shot to complete the exacta round trifecta, and those are Sacred Thunder and Happily Delusional. Pay Billy would be going for his 5th win in a row and 3rd straight stakes win, if not for missing by a nose after leading late in the race 1 before last in the Miracle Wood. He bounced back big time off the effort 4 weeks ago to win the Private Terms, which was his first race around 2 turns this year. Stalking the pace setters in 3rd for the first half mile in that race, Pay Billy went by them easily to open up by a couple lengths in the stretch and coasted home. In the 93 Equibase Speed figure he earned, second only to the 95 figure Kentucky Outlaw earned in an allowance race last month. Should be improved upon in Pay Billy's second. And his sire, second crop sire, Improbable, has at only 1 horse so far run 9 furlongs, and that one won. So I expect another top effort good enough to win. Surfside Moon gets the rail and finished second in his only previous 2-turn race, the Withers, at Aqueduct, when last seen in February at the 9-furlong trip. I might prefer him if he had run since then, but that's the only knock that he's off for a couple of months. He earned a 92 figure for that effort, very close to the other contenders, and in both that runner-up effort and his win in a mile on turf in August, Surfside Moon rallied from 5th early, so should the pace be contested or faster than average, he can win, and even if not, he should still improve off his Withers effort. Kentucky Outlaw is a perfect 2-for-2 in his career. Both wins coming at Parks. The first it was a sprint, and the second a 2-turn race with a field high 95 Equibase speed figure. Kentucky Outlaw is a Kentucky bred with excellent breeding, and his 2 most recent works since leaving Parks have been strong. He earned his last one leading from start to finish, and the workouts and that style suggest we can expect Gonzalez to send him to the front from the start. There doesn't appear to be any really early speed types inside of him in the gate, so the only question is whether he has the talent to move from that allowance race at Parks to the stakes race at Laurel versus 2 horses with stakes experience in Pay Billy and Surfside Moon. As for the Exact and Trifecta horses, Sacred Thunder has finished second 5 times in 12 races, most recently went 3 lengths behind Pay Billy in his first 2-turn race, the Private Terms Stakes last month. He's won 3 times and finished third 3 times, so 11 for 12 in the money makes him a great candidate for Exact and Trifecta tickets. Similarly, Happy Delusional was second by 6 lengths to Kentucky Outlaw in that race at Parks last month and could be in the money again. In the Federico Tesio, race 11 at Laurel on April 19th, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to start with Pay Billy, considering our win bets, who should be bet to win at 2-1 or more. Surfside Moon could be considered at 5-2 or more, and Kentucky Outlaw at 3-1 or more. And looks like we're going to get at least a couple of horses to bet on here. So when presented with an opportunity to wager on more than one horse to win, we can gain a mathematical edge using what's called a Dutching tool, which prorates our wagers for the best edge. There's a free Dutch tool at AmWager, and all you have to do at AmWager is set the total amount you want to win and then select 2 horses, and all the work is done. And that's one of many tools and perks for the horse racing bettor at AmWager. For the Exacta, I want to play the first Exacta, a box of Pay Billy, Surfside Moon, and Kentucky Outlaw. And the second is going to be Pay Billy, Surfside Moon, and Kentucky Outlaw over Pay Billy, Surfside Moon, and Kentucky Outlaw, Sacred Thunder, and Happily Delusional. Play the same thing for a 50-cent trifecta. We're going to use Pay Billy, Surfside Moon, and Kentucky Outlaw in the top position, the first position. Pay Billy, Surfside Moon, Kentucky Outlaw, Sacred Thunder, and Happy Delusional in second and third. I think that's a really good play in a full field like this. Moving on to Keeneland for the Elkhorn Stakes, race 9 on April 19th, post time 5:16. The win contenders are Mr. Cut, Grand Sonata, and Balnikov. Mr. Cut has won 7 of 18 in his career, including 5 of 13 on grass. Last year, as a 5-year-old, he had the best race of his career, winning 2 graded stakes, finishing second in another from 3 North American starts. His win in the San Marcos Stakes and San Luis Race Stakes in California earned him back-to-back 109 Equibase speed figures and trip to Kentucky, where he rallied nicely for second in last year's Elkhorn with a 102 figure. After a poor effort when racing in England in June, he took time off, returned on March 1st in the Mac de Armida at Gulfstream, where he trailed 11th for the first 1.5 miles before launching a bid and passed 5 horses late. Although 6th, Mr. Cut was only a couple lengths back at the end with a 101 figure, now making his second start following that long layoff, back at the 1.5-mile distance of his victory in the San Luis Rey and runner-up effort in last year's Elkhorn. Mr. Cut could improve markedly and earn his 8th career win with Hall of Famer John Velasquez in the saddle for the first time. Grand Sonata has had a pretty illustrious career, including wins in the Turf Cup Stakes last September at Kentucky Downs with a 110 figure and near misses in the United Nations Stakes with a career best 112 figure, and most recently in the Mac de Armida on March 1, where Grand Sonata rallied valiantly in the last eighth of a mile, going from 4th to miss by just a hit on the wire. Now stretching out an eighth of a mile for the Elkhorn, it could help him make up that narrow margin and win. Balnikov ships in from California for excellent trainer Phil D'Amato after putting in a very strong workout in his home base, as well as one over the Keeneland turf course. Balnikov ran at Keeneland much early in his career, winning the Bryan Station Stakes in the fall of 2022. Since then, he's won 2 more graded stakes, including the Dinner Party last May in Maryland, earning a career best 115 figure. Last November, Balnikov ran one of the best races of his career when rallying from last to 9 and missed by a half length in the Hollywood Turf Cup, run at the 1.5-mile distance of the Elkhorn. There's little doubt that effort, as well as his previous success at Keeneland, is what prompted trainer D'Amato to ship him to Kentucky. And if Balnikov repeats either of those efforts, he could have a big say in the outcome. Now, as to the starting favorite, limited liability, I think he's vulnerable in this situation. That's the reason I like this race so much. And I'm taking a stand against him as a win contender, even though he can finish second or third. Although he's won 4 races during 900,000, he's never won a mile and a half, though he did finish second or third in 4 tries. He has won twice at Keeneland, but at much shorter distance and allowance races. Limited Liability won the Nashville Gold Cup Stakes last summer at the distance of 2/16 miles with a 111 figure, and he earned a 115 figure in third in the McKnight in January when last seen. However, the win in the Gold Cup came when leading from start to finish. There's very little chance he's going to get the lead in this race, as Dean Martini also races the same way, has a better position, and is faster. That forces Limited Liability to race off the pace from the start and perhaps run faster than average chasing Dean Martini, making him susceptible to being passed late by horses with much bigger late kicks. He can still hang on for second, as I said. So in the Elkhorn, race 9 Keeneland, 5:16 Eastern, Saturday the 19th. Start with a win bet on Mr. Cut at 5-2 or more. Consider Grand Sonata at 3-1 or more. Consider Balnikov at 4-1 or more. And it appears likely 2 of the 3 will be above those odds, so you should use, and I will use when I make my wagers, the free Dutching tool at amwager.com to bet this race and achieve the best mathematical edge by putting in the amount I want to bet and win in total and selecting 2 horses to win. For the exacta, I'm going to box Mr. Cut and Grand Sonata and Balnikov, and then another exacta of Mr. Cut, Grand Sonata, and Balnikov over Mr. Cut, Grand Sonata, Balnikov, Rebel Red, Limited Liability, starting over, and I'd rather be blessed. There's some value here in Limited Liability being the favorite and being second or off the board. So the second exacta, again, is Mr. Cut, Grand Sonata, and Balnikov over Mr. Cut, Grand Sonata, Balnikov, Rebel Red, Limited Liability, starting over, and I'd rather be blessed. Don't forget, you can get the written version of this totally free Key Races and Bets blog at amwager.com, AMWAGER. Click on How to Bet and Ella Star's blog. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.